So, this is the second part of the story. In the first part, we saw Jack telling story to his daughter to make her fall asleep, and this was always the same structured story with a Roger creature with some problem going to Owl, and Owl directing him to Wizard, Wizard correcting his issues. Now here it is Roger Skunk who smelled very bad, and that was the reason he was not accepted by his other group mates. So he was unhappy, and so he went to Wizard, and Wizard finally changed his smell to the smell of roses. And now he was women when they took anything for granted. He liked them apprehensive, hanging on his words. Now, whenever Jack was talking to women, he always had this feeling that they should not conclude anything. They should not take anything for granted. They should be clinging and fully attentive to the things till he completed the whole thing. And so he was little annoyed when he saw Joe not paying attention and her attention wavering. So he asked, "Are you listening? Because this is very interesting." Now, when Roger Skunk came back, he knocked at the door. The mother came out, and the mother's reaction was, "What is that awful smell?" Now, here you see what? That is by uh, Joe. And it is not simply what, it is what, showing a surprise. You can just imagine someone calling the smell of roses as a bad smell. And here we see, after a long time in the story, a genuine expression from Joe. And Roger Skunk said, "It's me, Mommy, I smell like roses." And she said, "Who made you smell like that?" And he said, "The wizard." And she said, "Well, of all the nerve, you come with me. We are going right back to that very awful wizard." Mother was very angry at the smell being changed. Now look at the reaction of Joe. She's really nervous because she could gather from the reaction of mother that what steps she was going to take, and there was a genuine fright in her behavior. But Daddy, when he said about the other little animals run away, her hand skittered off onto the underbrush. Didn't he tell about the other animals? All right, he said, but Mommy, all the other little animals run away. So Jack took a cue from it, and he said that Roger Skunk said that the other animals did not want to play with him, but the mother says, "I don't care. You smell the way a little skunk should have, and I'm going to take you right back to that wizard." And she took an umbrella, went back with Roger Skunk, and hit that wizard right over the head. Now, Joe, she had some sort of inspiration at this point of story, and she added on her own, saying that, and the wizard hit her back, and he said that he will not change the smell. But Jack said no. The wizard said okay, and the Roger Skunk did not smell of roses anymore. He smelled very bad again. But the other little animal, she here, whatever she is saying, that is actually means. But what about other reaction of other little animal? John, now Jack was really getting impatient at this moment because he had to go downstairs also. "It's Daddy's story. Shall Daddy not tell you any more stories?" Her broad face looked at him through shifted light, astounded. This is what happened. And then Roger Skunk and his mommy went back home, and then he described that dinner that father returned from Boston, and they had dinner. And when Roger Skunk was sleeping, was in bed, Mother Skunk came and hugged him and said he smelled like a little baby skunk again, and she loved him very much. And that's the end of the story. So here, Jack ended his. Joe then asked a question. "But Daddy, what? Then did the other animals run away? What happened to the reaction of the other animals?" Jack said no, because eventually they got used to the way he was and did not mind it at all. They gradually got adjusted to his smell, and they stopped minding it. What is even Shiladi in a little while? And then there was a little gap. For a moment silence, and then suddenly the little girl came up with her reaction. It was a stupid mommy. She not at all liked the behavior of mother, reaction of mother, reverting back the smell of Roger Skunk, and this reaction shows it all. "It was not," he said with a rare emphasis. Now here we see Jack Little getting aggressive, And when he said it was not, and when he looked at her face, he could feel that she was thinking that as if he was not defending Roger Skunk's mother, but his own mother. But then he just tried to make her understand, and he said that, now I want you to put your big heavy head in the pillow and have a good long nap. He adjusted the shade so not even a crack of day showed, and tiptoed to the door, in the pretense that she was already asleep. But when he turned, she was crouching over on the top of the covers and staring at him. Hey, get under the covers and fall fast asleep. Bobby is asleep. She stood up and bounced gingerly on the springs. Daddy. What? Tomorrow I want you to tell me the story that that wizard took that magic wand and hit that mommy, her plump arms chopped forcefully right over the head. You can see that she was not at all happy. She was not at all happy with the things that have happened. And she wanted a different ending of the story. So Jack made her understand, no, that's not the story. The point is that the little skunk loved his mummy more than he loved all the other little animals. And she knew what was right. Roger Skunk loved his mother, and mother knew what was right thing for her child. But the girl insisted. No, tomorrow you say he hit that mommy. Do it. He kicked her legs up and sat down on the bed with a great heave and complaint of springs, as she had done hundreds of times before, except that this time she did not laugh. Say it, Daddy. Well, we will see. Now at least have a rest. Stay on the bed. You are a good girl. He closed the door and went downstairs. Claire had spread the newspapers and opened the paint can, and wearing an old shirt of his on the top of his maternity smock, was stroking the chair rail with a dipped brush. Above him footsteps vibrated, and this time he was really angry. John, shall I come up there and spank you? Shall I come and hit you? The footsteps hesitated. That was a long story, Claire said. The poor kid, he answered, and with utter weariness watched his wife labor. Utter weariness, as if he was completely tired. And that tiredness was not because of any physical work, but it was mental. He was exhausted mentally. The reason we will now see what was the reason behind that. He looked around, he saw the woodwork, the cage of moldings and rails and baseboards all around them, and that some of them were half old tan and half new ivory. And he felt caught in an ugly middle position. Now here, half old tan and half new ivory are symbolic. Half old tan represents the old belief, that the parents are always correct. They know what is right and what is correct thing for their children, and they have all the right to look into the matter. Whereas the new ivory, that is symbolic of the new belief, that ideology, that children have also their expression, the children have their own perspective, and that should be also considered. Now what happened to Jack? Neither he was able to let go the age-old belief, and neither he was in a position to accept the new one. And that's why he felt caught in an ugly middle position. What is this ugly middle position? You can go neither way. And though he as well felt his wife's presence in the cage with him, he did not want to speak with her, work with her, touch her, anything. And he felt that he was surrounded, he was captured in that cage of these ideas, and he felt so frustrated, so alienated, that he could feel the presence of his wife there, but he was completely detached. He was completely detached. Now here we try to understand why he spoke with utter weariness. It was he was mentally exhausted. He was frustrated because he wanted to convey his daughter something. In the very beginning of the story, we see that he did not want to hurry because he was going to tell something real, something about the life. But he felt unsuccessful doing so. And he himself was caught in a dilemma, what to do and what not to do, which one to accept and which one to leave. And so that was the reason behind his this weariness. Now we come to some of the issues which have been raised as I discussed it earlier. Difference in perspective of a child and an adult. Perspective, that is nazariya, dekhne ka dhang. So an adult looks at the thing with a different view because an adult has experience of life. Everything is being analyzed on the basis of that experience and then finally concluded whether it is good or bad or right or wrong. But a child does not have an experience of life. A child looks at everything in a different way. If it is good, it is good. If it is pleasant, if it is then it is pleasant. There is no experience and something like that, and that is the reason why there is a difference in a perspective of an adult and a child. Now the second point which I mentioned earlier was the mode of parenting. What should be the mode of parenting? Should it be a forced one, imposed one, or there should be a mutual understanding? Now here in this chapter we see that both Mother Skunk and Jack, they were trying to impose upon the children that parents are always right and something like that. But the point comes out that whether the child's perspective should also be respected or not. Then comes the point, importance of identity. For children like Roger Skunk and Joe, identity has no importance because they don't know its importance. But whereas for the grown-ups like Jack and Mother Skunk, now in case of Mother Skunk very well knew that that smell was the identity of a skunk, and if it is gone, then it is gone forever. That smell has been provided to by the nature as a defense mechanism, and that smell is the identity. And if the identity is lost, everything is lost. But for kids, uh, they don't know it as they are not aware of it. And lastly comes the pain of discrimination. Now, discrimination of any sort is always painful, and sometimes people take extreme steps, as it happened in the case of Roger Skunk. He even went to the extent of losing his identity. And so, this was the chapter. Now we come to the title of the chapter. If you look at the title of the chapter, it is an open-ended question. And an open-ended question always begins with a helping verb. So, open-ended question has two possible answers, and that's why they are also known as yes/no questions. So, should wizard hit mommy? Yes or no? That can be a different. There can be a different perspective of every reader, and author has thrown it open to the reader to answer it on the basis of their understanding, what they feel and what should be done, and has left it open to the reader about it. So that is all about this chapter.